NYC Radio with me, your radio tech bestie, as I like to call myself, Sonia Agokian. Or just Sonia, if you will. And today I'm not alone. I have, I'm the gift that keeps on giving, if I do say so. So, yes, I have someone with me today, and his name is Paschal Osunkwor. Paschal Osunkwor is a UI UX designer who has dabbled in many things too. Well, not many things, and dabbled seems a bit. But yes, he has gone through a lot to get to this point to become a UI UX designer, and he's going to tell us some of his stories. The journey to get here, and just a lot of other things that he'll probably tell us about being a UI UX designer. So don't go anywhere, don't touch it down. Once you come back, Pascal's going to make an introduction, and yeah, we're just going to chit chat about what it means to be a UX designer in this time and age, everything that has happened to get him to this point he is right now, being a UI UX designer. Some of the tools he works with, the challenges he has faced, his ups and downs, the good times, the bad times, and just every other thing in between.
Right. Thank you, Sonia, for having me. My name is Paschal Osunkwor, and I'm a product designer. Well, you can call me product designer or a UI UX designer, just a popular one. So, like, basically, as a product designer, I help businesses with design solutions, and we look into the pain points of customers to know how customers interact with certain digital products. So currently, I'm working with a company called Enviable. Enviable is into transport company. It's a ride sharing application where you can actually book a trip. So we're revamping the application so far, and yeah, the application so far is on the store, on Google Store and Apple Store, so you can actually check those applications out. So actually, redesigning this application to give customers a better feel to the application. Yeah. So basically, I've been in the design world for a very long time. Let's say
Okay.
8 years. And I've been from graphic. I started as a graphic designer, doing album covers for local artists in my area, and then I expanded. And when I went to the university, that's when I actually started this life of a product designer or a UI UX designer.
Okay, that's interesting. So I'm really curious. What was like the first thing that would you say like made you realize, okay, I'm doing product designing now, no longer graphics designing? You said it was first at uni. So what's like the first thing you worked on that was as close to product design as possible?
All right, cool. So like when I was in my second year, but like first year when I got into the university, I was just doing designs, and like my entire class guys they knew that I did design because then we're like I think 70 boys and 3 girls because it was computer science
Oh
obviously,
my goodness.
and so like we're always thinking of solutions to build. So that's when a friend of mine, one Favor, came to me. I'm like, bro, there's this idea. Let us do an e-voting system. Why should we be in computer science and we'll be doing manual voting, like using ballot box? So that's when we linked up with Kilichi as well. So started thinking about how to make a system where people can actually use to vote. So we did that. We created. So I started designing the mobile application for that stuff for the voting system, and we used it in computer science. And the election was successful, and the news spread that computer science guys did what's it called, electronic
Yeah, electronic
voting.
voting.
And so like we said, okay, let's take this into school. Let's take it to the University of Nigeria. And that's when we took it. Like there's a lot of politics in school. That
Yeah.
SUG saying, no, no, don't want
You don't want electronic
electronic voting
voting.
because it could be rigged, blah blah blah. They want to like have a means to actually control the system. So like the VC was someone who was innovative, and it's always looking for new ways to put UN on the pedestal. So the dean worked with the dean as well, Charles Wigwe. And so when we took it there, they accepted it and they said, but no, we don't want people to stay in the hostel and vote. We want people to come out to the voting centers, but it will be in a digital platform. So we made it. So we had to go back and to redesign it for desktop view. So students will come, use their biometric to their thumbprints to get verified by signing in, and you come in there, then you vote. So that was the first time I was like, okay. And I saw like 33,000 students use a system that we built,
Yeah.
to vote. So that was something of joy. Like, it was something of pride. So I said, oh, do you know what? I want to be a full-time product
Product
designer.
designer. That's
Yeah. So
interesting.
so
So
that's
at
when I
that early point, what was the tool you used? Because I know we've had like a couple of tools designers use from
yeah.
Figma to Adobe Studio, like
Yeah.
so many of them. So what was like the first tool you used for
So
that design?
when I was designing, then I know how to use Corel. Initially, I started using Corel Draw to
Okay.
design those artworks and those graphics, those illustrations, animations, and so. And so I know how to do like icons, all those kind of design to, stuffs. So when I started doing this stuff, I was using XD at the time when I was in school. I found that XD was a tool that they use in doing
Yeah.
interfaces. So I used XD then. to actually build that system. But subsequently, later in the future, I switched to Figma. Figma was more comfortable. It was more easy for like it's very sweet to use Figma. So yeah, Figma is more comfortable for me right
Okay,
now.
that's interesting.
But like other tools like Illustrator, I use them for icons, illustrations, build characters and stuff.
So Figma is still like the major thing you're using right
Right
now.
now, yeah.
So how long have you been using Figma for?
That should be like let me say 5, 6 years. Yeah,
That's a very long time.
yeah.
Okay. Can you share a bit about like your professional journey throughout the years, like how you've moved from maybe jobs to jobs or roles to roles? And I understand that okay, when we get to that later, the whole point of negotiation. Have you faced any maybe imposter syndrome along the way, thinking is my work good enough to approach so and so clients, or from the jump where you're just like, you know what, I know this thing, I'm sure anybody comes to me, I can approach even the president. So how has been your journey over the years?
Yeah, so in the design field, you keep practicing, you keep learning, you keep watching trends because trend comes out every,
Yeah.
you see new kind of minimalistic design is coming out. You have to just keep up with speed. Like I do 3D as well. I incorporate 3D into my art, to just make it, better. Because I see people incorporating 3D into that. I say, okay, I know how to do Blender, I know how to do 3D, so why don't I do this and add it to my own designs? So over the years, yeah, everyone suffers from imposter syndrome. Everybody. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe you don't suffer from like I feel like I do. Sometimes like, am I even good enough? Like when you go to a big company, there was time I worked with a Russian company, Upcake. So it's then when I was applying for those stuff, the whole process was so tedious, stressful. After the first interview, the second interview, they gave me tax, and I did the tax to the very best of my ability, and they liked the tax I did. So they called me for the second round of interview. I went, they asked me a couple of questions, asked me technical questions. After that, I passed, and I went into the final stage, and I was asking about negotiation, price, and this will offer, this what, but with time, could improve on my salary. I said that's fine. But I was just there, to like gain the experience, work with an international company. And yeah, I suffer from imposter sometimes. But when you go there and be like, oh yeah, this is what two other people are doing and you're doing it as well. So I now I just know that it's when you're trying to solve a solution and you're solving that solution and actually helping whoever is using the system because you're actually solving for users. As much as you're solving for users, you're also solving for the stakeholders. You have to make sure you meet the needs of the stakeholders as well as the customers. So as long as I meet
Meet the
this,
needs.
yeah, this needs of the customer, I feel
You're
like, yeah,
satisfied.
I've done a decent job.
That's
And the customers actually enjoy, have good feel when they're using the system. Yeah.
okay. So what's the most interesting thing you've ever done, like in the UI UX, the product design space? It might have not been the most lucrative of roles, but like,
Yeah.
what's the most interesting project you've worked on?
Like I said, I just my first project because that was something I like say, okay, this is a new beginning. This is something
It
that you
was
can
like an
do.
eye
Like
opener for
yes,
you.
like wow, like do you know what it means that in school you have like 30, like over 50,000 students in school, like
Yeah.
33,000 students registered on our system. I was like, bro, like these are the guys that did that. So these are the guys that
It
like
was
that
so
ego.
nice.
So I felt because that's the first thing I ever did. Like
Yeah.
obviously I've done projects that thousands of people have used, but that was like the first time, and that feeling I think I haven't got that feeling in a long time. But I think maybe when I do something different, that makes me blow up, and my name is on it. Not because it's like working for people, you're not actually having the credits.
Yeah,
It's the
it's more of the
team, yeah, it's more
company.
of the company. So the company is paying you to okay, we don't want your name to be there, we want your name to be there. But it was something that we took the name for it. So
Okay.
yeah,
So I want to go more into like your day to day sort of activities. How have you been able to manage deadlines?
yeah,
Because I understand like as designers sometimes you have deadlines, and design is something that really works a lot with creativity. I don't want to downplay developers' roles in in the final product and all, but for developers, we know it's more of you write the codes, you know what needs to be done, you work on that button. There's a lot resources for you. There's still resources for designers, maybe on Behance, on Pinterest, but sometimes wanting creativity is something that just comes from where nobody knows, but it has to come out.
true,
So have you worked with like meeting up with deadlines, especially from maybe clients that are so you don't always have those clients that are just so persuasive and
true.
so hard to please, and they still want the work to be done quickly, forgetting that design has to work with a lot of inner creativity. So have you been able to like meet up with that?
Yeah, so sometimes like I think I flourish very well in deadlines. When I ask, for instance, if I'm doing if like a job outside of my job,
Okay.
I'll be like, when is the deadline? They'll be like on Monday, and this is I'm on Thursday. I was thinking I don't have an idea yet what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. I'm like, God, what's up? Then when it gets to like Sunday, and then I'm supposed to deliver this one, I'll be like, oh my
So the
decks.
pressure pushes you.
The pressure
Oh
alone
my
pushes my
goodness.
thinking. You get so, and I think the pressure is there to actually help me think outside the box fast. I need to deliver this solution ASAP, and I just feel like when you have studied the principles of design,
Yeah.
concept of design, you understand this thing by the palm of your fingers. You get, you are able to just use those principles in time to just flip up the design. Then you look out for like creative platform you can get inspirations like Behance, like just mentioned. I use Pinterest a lot. I use Behance a lot. There are a lot of other places you can draw
Yeah.
inspirations from. Even Instagram, you can go like, okay, see this design. Okay, how about I flip this backwards? Flip this, change this stuff, pick this
Yeah.
other one. Like you know that you need to know how to steal again as a designer. You
So
get
it's not exactly the same.
steal
But I
so
was
many
good
people's
friends with a
work.
designer, and
Okay.
I remember he was saying things like, "Okay, this design and this design I did. If you actually look at it, you can see that you know who inspired who, but you have to know how to like move the
Move
fonts, change your fonts, maybe
exactly.
flip that color instead of that being the primary color, make those be the accents and everything." I was just like,
True,
so that's what
true.
people do in this field. It was really interesting to see. But yeah, over your journey, over time being a designer, has there been like any situation that stood out to you, a situation where you almost felt like giving up, maybe because of like negative feedback? Maybe you did something for like a company or for a client and they just maybe talked down on your work, so broke your confidence. Was there like any time like that in your
Yeah.
journey?
So I won't say it's the feedback I get from. Like I said,
Yeah.
whenever I make sure that I deliver both on the user's end and the stakeholders end, right?
Yeah.
So if I get a bad review from the stakeholders, okay, I see that okay, I've not done my job very very well to actually please these guys. So I'll go back and reiterate based on their feedback. So like I don't just expect like I need a constructive feedback when they give me. So
Okay.
what and what you see that's
Don't you
not
like?
actually working?
Yeah.
Because I actually ask those questions. So and I give them my own thoughts process of why I did like this and why it's been done like this.
Okay.
So the time I've actually felt down like, oh man, this is really tired. It's when I had so many jobs because then I was working at work and I had 2 or 3 gigs that I couldn't even meet up with. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just refund this with their money back and have peace of mind. So, but coming back from negative feedback, I always read back to them. I'm like, okay, what is not working for you here? What can I do to improve on this? They need this, they need that. So, okay, I'll go back and I'll work with those feedback. Because if
Okay.
you're just taking those negative feedback without having something constructive, it don't work. So if you say you don't like the colors, okay. So what kind of colors are you going for? What kind of mood do you expect from this? What do you expect your customers to feel from this stuff? And sometimes you design a logo. When I used to design logos, you design a logo. I'm like, where is the logo? I'm like, that is the logo. Are you serious? After I've done so many, iterations for the brand and brand guys, brand style, you're telling me where's the logo?
So I have another question, because obviously work as a product designer, you're never going to work alone. It's
Yeah,
just
true.
expected. You're either working. There are different like things you can apply your designs to, but you would never be working alone.
Yeah,
So how has it been working with a team? And okay, the first instance of designing for you, like you mentioned, was when you were in uni and you
yeah,
worked with like your friends on that electronic voting. But I'm sure like when you moved on to jobs, we're not always meeting people you knew.
no, yeah,
Definitely. So how has it been working with like other people, especially for a remote worker?
yeah,
Because I know for a remote, you can be in your house, you're calling someone. It's kind of different from the feel of knowing someone physically or seeing them often. It's
sure,
easier to develop like camaraderie when you're meeting people often.
exactly, yeah,
But over the phone or over like your Slack meetings or things like that, Google Meet, it's really different.
yeah.
So how has it been developing relationships with people and just that whole work relationship? How has it been for you?
So like first, like outside here, like if I should come into a place for the very first time, I'll be a very very quiet person. Like I'm very quiet now, right? But the next day, I'll just tell them I'm weary. Do you understand?
Okay.
I'll tell them I'm a fun person. Like I'm very very joking. I know how to throw jokes. So I think my sense of humor sometimes help me stay in companies very long. So even when I worked like in I worked for a doctor. She's a doctor in US, Dr. Lolubai. So I was more like the guy who was doing like I do a couple of lot of things. I was doing the video editing and stuff like for their Instagram, their LinkedIn profile. So when I was actually working in that company, right, and they were like everyone was so rigid, everyone was so mean, everyone was like throwing subtle jokes anytime I'm dropping any tax and like work on this stuff for this stuff. We're having a conference. Okay, we're having this talk about the seminar about sleep because she was like more of into sleep stuff like that. So so whenever I'm dropping those, I'm dropping those some sense of humor, adding humor to it. So like she was getting comfortable. People begin to loosen up. Oh, okay. So this one not actually mean like they're just being all tight because it's
Because you were
work.
new
You
and
get so
everything.
and also when I'm working with designers, sorry, developers, as a designer, when you design something like people are like, bro,
How are you the one developing that?
I'm not doing
What kind
this.
of button is that?
I'm not doing this slide. I'm not doing this animation. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool, cool. So how to make it work? So we need something like this. It would be nice to have, the customers who actually like this, the users who like this. So you need to actually relate with the developers to know their power, to know their strength. Okay, they're not good in animation. Okay, you know how to find something else to actually do. You know, so you have to know, like you have to know the people you're working with. You have to be fun with them. These are your team. These are your what do you call it? Your team members,
Yeah.
your colleagues. So you need to know their strengths. If you don't know their strengths, you keep making them angry. You keep when you see Pascal sent in a design. Oh Jesus, this guy wants to kill me again. Do you get so? You need to know that I study like when I come in, I was like, okay, all serious. Next day I'm looking at okay, I send this stuff. It's like I'm testing the waters. Okay, how far can you actually do this stuff before it gets to the PM?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have access to the developers. So, you test and you get feedback from all these things, like, okay, so I want to stay long in this company. I have to make everyone happy. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, and the main goal is that, okay, I'm actually always, always constantly looking at the users. The users is like the main goal for me. So, yeah, sense of humor, and
Yeah.
know the
Really
strength
helps
of
you
your
of your
teammates,
teammates. That has been amazing.
because if you don't know the strength of your teammate, they
You're going
are
to keep having issues
issues.
with
So,
them. So yeah, moving over to other questions. This is more for people who are maybe just new to the field of product design. What would you advise someone who's about to start product design? The thing is, like in current times, I'm going to get to that later about how like Canva has come in and AI. I'm going to talk about how what your views are on if you feel like it has affected the product design field a lot in terms of availability of jobs and things like that. But first off, let's talk about someone who's starting off in product design. What would you advise them? Maybe tools, just anything.
okay, yeah. I'll first of all say you want to start out as a product designer or a UI designer or a UI. There's nothing wrong in being just a UI designer. UI designer just design the interface. You get so starting out as a product designer or as a graphic designer in general. First, you just need to know the principles of design. That's the founding. That's the foundations. If your foundation is strong, you can actually as in move on to like other fields in graphic design. Graphic design is so big. You have UI designs, you have digital designs, you have environment designs, you have brand identity designs, logo design. So like it's so big. So I think the very first place to start. But people always like to rush into,
Yeah.
just want to go and start doing UI, start reading Google course on UI. It's fine, but I think you just need to know the basic principles of design. So just learn those first, learn the fundamentals. They're not that difficult to pick up. Then from there, you can start learning full time. Okay, I want to focus on graphic design. I want to focus on brand design. I want to focus on UI, UX. From there you can actually evolve. And when you learn all this stuff, so you can ask easily, once you know all those things at the back of your palm, you can just easily flip up designs real fast.
Okay.
And
So are there like tools or maybe resources you can recommend to new
yeah.
product designers or people aspiring to become designers they can use to like learn these
Yeah,
fundamentals?
sure. Like there are a lot of tools to actually use when doing product design. You have Figma, which is like the popular, and I think the best for me, in my own opinion, is Figma. And you have XD, which is still available and people still use it, and it has been improving over the years. But it had its time and people used it, and people are still using it. So
Yeah, I know that there
we
are
had
people still using
we have
it.
Sketch, so you can actually use Sketch as well. So and like I like to build my vectors or my icons by myself. So and there's nothing wrong, in having to download a pack of icons. But like sometimes there's a pack that's not always complete for me, based on what I'm working on. Maybe it's a medical field, so you just have to create your own icons yourself. So like you can use Illustrator for that. You can also do that in Figma, but it's a little bit tedious, or should I say a little bit stressful to do that there. So I feel more comfortable to it in Adobe Illustrator. So you also have Photoshop where you can actually cut out your pictures for maybe your landing page or anywhere you want to put pictures in. You can actually create all those images, make them sharper there because the power of Photoshop is very, 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 very great, and you can have that power in Figma. So I find two my pictures there, and maybe patterns. I create my patterns in Adobe Illustrator, and you can also use people use CorelDRAW as well. I used
Yeah.
to use CorelDRAW way back, so but I found that Illustrator is actually more powerful. No, it's not more powerful, but preference. That's company standard. Like so,
Okay, that's interesting.
you get so
Okay,
CorelDRAW
that's
is fine. If you use Canva, Canva is but I've used Canva. I've seen how Canva works, and I'm like, oh, Canva is just like for very quick designs. Just get template edited. You can actually start your own template from scratch there. But you want to be professional, I think you use like CorelDRAW, Adobe Illustrator. Then if like when I was starting out, I did a lot of stuff. I was
yeah.
testing the waters, before I even getting into school. So I did video editing. So I used Adobe Illustrator, Adobe After Effects, and you have Adobe Premiere Pro. So Premiere Pro is more of just for like cuts for videos, your effects, and all this stuff. Then After Effects is like motion graphics in full. You have power to did cut, create 3D, so it's very, very powerful. So yeah, and also if 3D is something that really intrigues you, because when I was growing up, 3D intrigued me so much. I started learning 3D Blender in I think 2014, right? Yes, 2014. I had a PDF. That's what I was using, and a friend of mine gave it to me. His name is Sharafa. So he gave it to me that PDF, and that was holy grail for me. I was like going through each page, each page, each page. Then as in, I don't really know that they had like I could get resources of Blender on YouTube, because then it was not really that popping then. So
Yeah. Okay,
then
that's interesting.
yeah,
So, like for new for people aspiring to become designers, or people who are currently in design, but maybe at the very junior level or even
yeah,
early level, we find that one of their major issues is negotiating their prices
yeah.
with clients. Just negotiating their price rate or their rate, and like, okay, this they don't know when it's too much or it's too little, and they always have maybe a little bit of fear of, okay, haven't not been long here, even if they're probably good. We hear issues of, I don't know, if I tell them this price, maybe it's going to be too much or this or that. So what do you advise people to do in terms of negotiation?
Oh, so like first of all, you just know your words. Then don't go below your words. But sometimes I actually do some like if I find the project exciting, I'm like, okay, I can actually do this for free. I can actually do this for free, but let us do it for this price you actually mentioned. Because it's something that if I be part of the team, at least I will learn like I like to learn new stuff. So if I go into that team, I'm like, okay, like say very, very first time I worked with a friend who was doing a VR concept like for a store a shopping mall where people can actually use VR to come to a mall and buy stuff. So I was like, okay, I've never heard that stuff before. That stuff sounds very, very interesting to me. So I would like to join in to work on this stuff. And the pay wasn't that much, but I was like, okay, you know what? Let the pay be like for my subscription, my data and stuff. I'm down for this job. So first of all, just know your worth. And how do you know your worth? Is in the quality of work you're bringing out. If you're bringing out a media, so that people get to see this work that you're doing. You get to see other criticism from other designers. Like, you can actually move this stuff, like change the color to this stuff, try that. So I'll put your work out there for people to see. Then before like you have your own say, like people know, oh, if I meet this guy will be very expensive. They'll be the one that'll be scared to meet you. They'll be like, no, I'm cheap. Oh. Come on. I'll not cut your hair, just okay. So just know your what, and your what it's in your work. You get when you know your worth, if you just go out, be like, okay, for this kind of stuff, I know this amount of stress I'll go through to create something amazing. So this is my price, because you know the value you're bringing, and you know that the value you're bringing is going to help the company to move forward, or whoever is like. Sometimes people bring conceptual ideas, that we want to see if this is going to work. So okay, I can actually make this work in the design field, and it will be very, very, very relatable to the physical world. People are going to be able to use it well. So you have to set your price within the
Yeah.
quality of work you are
What you're
coming. Yeah,
bringing.
because you can't just start design today and start calling it 1 millionaire. So come on.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so finally, maybe or almost finally, recently we've had situations where people have been talking about how with the advent of tools like AI tools for designing,
Yeah,
Canva, it feels like, okay, anybody can just be a designer, or it almost feels like maybe it's trying to fade out. Almost every role is every tech role is, you need to be like, oh, AI is my fade out hours, AI my fade out hours. So how do you feel as a designer currently with the advent of AI tools, things like Canva, do you feel like it's a bit of a competition to, designers at the moment? Do you feel like there's a lot of maybe struggle getting jobs right now with the advent of AI and, the tools and all?
No, not at all. Not at all. Like, for instance, I feel like AI is just here to help design designers design more faster and more better. It helps. Like, I use a lot of AI tools now. I don't need to go to. I used to go previously. I used to go to Color Palette to colors.com to go get colors. But now, let's go to one Color Palette. I'll say I need something related to this mood, tech, financial security. It pops out the color for me. I'll go to text or a typography AI tool. It generates for me the typography I'm using for my web designs. Do you get? So like it helps my job go faster.
Okay.
Now coming with Canva. Canva, well, Canva is not actually taking your job anyway, because Canva is just for small businesses that can actually hire.
Afford a
Yeah,
designer.
good. So, but you see companies like if you go on Upwork, if you go on Fiverr, you see companies like I need Canva designer. They're still needing someone who needs to do this stuff. Do you get? So
Yeah.
if you learn how to do designs and use Canva, and someone said, okay, I need someone who can do job for me on Canva. You just go to Canva, grab a template, edit, and send. So AI is just here to help make our work faster, make our work better. Just like the way computers came, when machines came, when people were inventing machines, like, oh, this machine are here to take our job. No, it's humans that actually run those machines
Yeah.
and make now you seek your job and jobs more faster and more better. You get? So it's same thing with the AI. AI is here to help us. Like previously, I used to have it a hard time to generate copies. I was like, oh, what should I write? What should I write in this copy? What should I write in this copy? Now just go to maybe Google Gemini or AI. What's it called?
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. Just type in, give me a nice copy for maybe if marketing stuff like that. Boom, I get a nice copy. Oh, okay. Let me fine tune it to a more cooler, friendly vibe. Just in a click. I generate I put my text and I'm gone. You could go to like a platform where you can generate inspiration, ideas. Just type in, let me see a dashboard for a sales team. It generates you a dashboard. Okay, so I don't like this stuff. You tweak, tweak, tweak. You get that stuff. You go back. You put the human factor in it, and you submit. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. So it's here to help your job.
Yeah.
So you need humans to actually prompt those stuff. You need a designer, someone who has a design sense. So that's why it's very, very good to know the principle of design. So you're able to extract the stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, just to say bye bye. What do you have for us, Pascal?
All right, final words. I just advise every designer out there, beginning or professional. I just think like constant practice is very, very important. Where you're starting out, just keep practicing, keep practicing. Where you're big, keep practicing. Like if you go online, you see people practicing. I see people that I look up to. They're practicing.
Basically, like learning never ends.
So learning never ends. Keep learning, keep trying out new style. Some people like to find a niche, but
You think it's better to
just
explore
explore. Touch everywhere.
and
So
know what you really, really
so
need?
just be creative.
Okay.
There's the word is our canvas. Just keep thinking. Ideas keep falling out. Be someone's inspiration. Someone put something out there for you to get inspired by. So why don't you put something out there to inspire someone else?
All
So
right. Thank you so much, Pascal Osunkwor. It has been so amazing having you on
thank you.
today's episode of the Youth and Tech Show. And to my lovely listeners on the other side of the radio, thank you for always staying tuned to 88.3 FM NYC Radio.